I don't think you can be a billionaire and have a healthy mindset. I don't think you are well adjusted to society to be a billionaire, and I think that's very evident in their behavior. They are not at all qualified for the level of influence and power that they have. And I think we need to take an honest look as to why people find it preferable to blame vulnerable populations during times of crisis. Like, why is it more appealing to blame a poor Mexican? Because you can go to the poor Mexican's house and brutalize him. Meanwhile, if you're told, no, the problem's actually billionaires, it feels so much bigger than you sometimes feel like you can handle. And, and then they're hidden behind like walls of things. They are in houses that you can never access and places you can never know about, blah, blah, blah. And it just seems like their money insulates them. But I think we should also not lose hope about that, because we are living in an enclosed system called Earth that depends on supply and labor. And if you stop giving them your labor, like, that's it. They export all of their skills to other people. They actually don't have any skills of their own. And that's kind of the costly trade-off of just, having kind of a cheat code in life, is you never have the external pressure to develop skill sets of your own. Like, you can just outsource the skills to other people constantly. And so what happens is that you're in a position where you have to rely on other people. And you also rely on modes of extortion and just manipulative abuse. Like, they're not well liked within their circles and within their families. That's the other thing people need to realize. They're not this unified front that people think they are. They stick together, so to speak, because they have similar enough interests in maintaining their class and their authority, but there are competing interests within them, and they're constantly fighting with each other, because anything that empowers itself from division is never going to truly be unified. So stop painting them with a broad brush of like they're all just like orcs and stuff. They don't have that kind of unity, and when you kind of fall into the trap of the us versus them, like, you are kind of empowering them in a kind of twisted way. You kind of are. You're kind of consolidating them as a unified force, and they're not a unified force. These people are like followers of the Ayn Rand philosophy of like, it's always about me and only me, and what I want matters more. And it's the second you have more than one person who needs to be in power, that's never going to work, because it's a pyramid. It's a pyramid scheme. It needs a base of people, and it needs a hierarchy. It needs for people to be less equal than others, and it needs to have people more equal than others, as Hamilton would say. I have mixed feelings about that book now that I know about how shady George Orwell actually was. So, fun fact, he was trained, I think, by British media or something. I don't know. You can go look at Ally McForever's channel for that. It's very fascinating now. It's basically having to do with how we create safe political targets instead of actually giving people a way to recognize the oppression as it's happening, and without giving them a hopeful kind of, you can overcome this thing, which you can overcome this. These people are flesh and bone at the end of the day. They don't have it more figured out than you or me. They were born in a certain set of circumstances that rewarded for a period of time the specific things they were good at, which was what? Sociopathy and large criminal enterprises involving trafficking and hiding where money comes from, because ultimately that is where most profit comes from. There's a profit incentive to hide and disguise the origin of where money is coming from. And in a way, it's a double-edged sword, this whole everything is surveilled thing, because it actually works against them too. They don't have complete control over the surveillance infrastructure they're so keen on implementing, because they are also unable to hide all the stuff they've done. And that keeps coming out. As long as they keep fighting with these other countries, people are going to infiltrate their shit and turn their own people against them, and they don't even need to manufacture the propaganda for that, because the truth is way more horrific than any propaganda any country can come up with. So, and please check out, I wrote an article on this about how grieving is a mechanism that, and I'm sure you will find, it starts out kind of depressing, but I swear it ends on a high note. And I also make a hard to refute argument about the fact that billionaires are basically unevolved animals. So if that gets you going, why don't you check it out? And that aside, just engage in your community. It's not about going to war with people. It's about building security nets when the government kind of is unable to provide those security nets once it's like completely gutted, by the people who are trying to claim, basically cooing for power. They're using capital to coup the capital. So anyway, we can go more over this in another video.